These areas are connected to a university. They're connected to an MIT. They're connected to a high-value university that is putting out high-quality graduates, and it is supporting them and giving them the right skills to be innovative and to work in businesses. And very importantly, there's access to capital, and that is extremely important. So people with ideas can get support in the US, and that can come from a variety of sources. It can come from an incubator associated with the university. It can come from a group of alumni who support the young graduates coming out. It can come from the local community in general. So this is very, very important. And it's a blend of these things that makes things important. It's getting that right balance right. It's also important to know that creates innovative jobs. And according to studies in the United States, every innovative job creates 5 services jobs associated with it. So that's people selling DVDs, making coffees, other support type hairdressers, etc. Manufacturing jobs also create jobs, but that's around about 3 times, not as good as innovative jobs, whereas service jobs tend to create about 0.75. So you really want to try and encourage innovative jobs, and that is what places like Seattle and Ann Arbor, etc. are doing. They're creating innovative jobs that are high paying, and therefore people are buying services, and it's creating high value service jobs. So it becomes a feeding, self-generating scenario. So we find that we've got the innovative jobs there, they're creating the other jobs, people then want to move into the area. So you have a mobile workforce that comes in. And it all comes about from the studies from keeping the graduates in the town. And this is just an example of, out of US data again, showing that it's maybe where you live rather than your resume, that's where you get your money. So if we look at things like Stamford and Waterbury in Connecticut, we've got here share of workers with college degrees. As you can see, 56% compared to 15%. Look at the salary difference of the college graduates there. Washington, so Virginia versus Virginia. San Jose versus Modesto in California. Look at the numbers here. Ann Arbor in Michigan, just literally a short drive away from Flint. You've got to have an armoured car to do the drive, but it's okay. There's significant jobs, and it all comes, and these are people with the same qualifications just getting extra money because they're in an innovative, supportive environment. It's very, very compelling. So which cities will prosper in the future and which will decline? I guess it's a mixture of those little connection points and getting the balance right. But 60 years ago, the rich areas were the manufacturing centres. They were Detroit. For those of you who've been to Detroit or been to Cincinnati, there are grand mansions that are in disrepair now because in 60 years ago they had physical capital. They had all these fellas streaming into the production line to make the vehicles, to make the mass-produced products. It was all about physical capital. Today, human capital is the best predictor of a city with success. So that's that's having a city which has got people with education, ingenuity and skills. So a large number of highly educated workers in a city is associated with creativity, is better to invent new ways of working, and that's what it's about. I like this quote here at the bottom. Economic research shows that cities with many university-educated workers tend to develop an innovation-based economy, and this brings even more well-educated workers there, further reinforcing the edge. It is a tipping point dynamic. By contrast, cities with few well-educated workers miss out on the growth of high-tech and further reduces their appeal. These self-reinforcing dynamics magnify the differences between winners and losers in an innovative economy. So, to me, that sums up what is going on, and that is what is making the difference between Ann Arbor and Detroit. Now, this is an interesting point. The global economy. We've all heard about the global economy and how we have to source things out of China, we have to source things out of India, etc. And indeed, we do have to do that. But the global economy is also becoming increasingly local. So our best ideas reflect daily, unpredicted stimuli that we receive from people we come across and social environment. It's very important to us that we have physical interaction. than they are face-to-face. This is where most innovation actually occurs. It's in personal contact with people with related skills or different skills to you. You pick that up. Sitting on a computer looking at Wikipedia doesn't do that. It's interesting that the vast majority of the phone calls and web traffic are still local. Who would have thought that? Telecommuting, there's a big rush about telecommuting, that's great, I can stay home and click and telecommute to the office. Still very rare, and when it does happen, it's generally not working all that particularly well. And video conferencing, email and Skype haven't made a dent in the reason to travel and meet face-to-face. In our business where we're working with companies around the world, certainly we have video conferences, certainly we have emails, but there's nothing like going there and talking face-to-face with the people. That is how the innovation occurs, that is how the reaction comes. We can certainly offset costs a little, but personal interactions are very, very important. So what can Geelong do? You saw earlier, you've got declining automotive, most of your sectors are in decline. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I think you need to exploit your competitive advantage. And what is your competitive advantage? You have an educated workforce. You have the guys from forward. You have very highly skilled workers, and you also have a very supportive community. One of the things I love about coming to Geelong is the community that exists here, how supportive it is, how focused it is. The Committee for Geelong, G21, etc. It's very focused, very, very tight-knit community, and this is a benefit. Connected university. You guys are so lucky. Deakin University is a world-class quality university focused on putting out industry-focused graduates, focused on working with industry, and it's focused on being part of the community. Jane Den Hollander, the Vice-Chancellor, one of her mantras is being connected to the community. You've got a great asset there and you need to connect to it as a community. You do have access to capital. You have capital here. You have people who have the money, getting access to it and having it focused on supporting the young people to create jobs. That isn't happening. That's a weakness at the moment for it. But you have all of that. And so you need, today is my tomorrow. It's up to me to shape it. That's what it's about. It's up to Geelong, the community, to start to shape the future. Not to focus on the fact that Ford are number 19th and selling cars now. Not to focus on the factories that are closing down, but to see the opportunities there and to try and support the young people who are down at Warn Ponds or in at the campus up the road here, in helping them create new businesses. Because every one of those that creates a business and creates a high-tech and an innovative business will secure or create 5 new jobs in Geelong. And hopefully we see some of the shops that are closing here starting to fill up with new shops, new opportunities there. As it says here, we've got, if we look at this area here, we've got agriculture, industrial economy, the service economy, which is what we're talking about, rest in peace. We've got to welcome the knowledge economy, and that's very important. And I think Geelong has that opportunity. Now VCAMM, what can VCAMM do to help? I think we can play a role. We can help rev the innovation engine. Sorry, I'm a car guy, so I have to put a car thing in. So VCAMM is about helping small to medium enterprises access the research community. That's part of what we do. We help businesses get ready to innovate. We help them connect to places like Deakin, but we also help them connect to other universities where it's relevant. So that is very, very important, to help your existing businesses remain globally relevant. So we can help with that, and we do to this currently. We can also help incubate businesses from great ideas. We currently have a suite of about half a dozen, maybe a little more, companies, some of which are out of Geelong, that are innovative startup companies that we are helping incubate. We are helping them start up their businesses. We are helping put a little bit of seed capital in to do that. We're doing that now. We'd love to do more of it. We'd love to do some more around Geelong, and there are some opportunities with incubators and tech parks coming up that we think we can help with that. We also help pulling together strategic opportunities. Many of you will have heard of the carbon fibre research facility that's being run at Geelong. We worked very closely with Deakin in pulling that application together and securing the funding. We're working closely with Deakin now to secure the projects to bring international companies in. We can continue to do that as well. And that's the end of my section. What I'll do now is I'll hand over to Ian Ralph now, who's our Enterprise Development Manager, and Ian will run through in some detail how we think we might be able to work and how we see incubation working. Hope that's been of some interest. Thank you.